Hello and welcome back to the channel. Last day of our tour in Poland, where we visit an incredible Protestant church built entirely of wood, which surprises with the beauty of its interior. And if you like our video, do not forget to like it, subscribe and activate notifications so that you know when we upload a new video. Our journey through Poland is coming to an end, but before leaving the country and heading to the Czech Republic, which is our next destination, we first visit Gliwice, where we find a communications tower that holds the record for being the tallest wooden tower in the world, with a total height of 118 meters. But this tower is famous not only for its height. It was built in August 1934 when this territory belonged to Germany. On the night of August 31, 1939, a small group of German SS dressed in Polish uniforms seized the radio station and broadcast a brief anti-German message in Polish, with the aim of making the attack and the transmission appear to be the work of anti-German Polish saboteurs. To make the attack seem more convincing, several prisoners from the Dachau concentration camp were drugged and shot on the spot. Their faces were disfigured to make identification impossible, and the bodies were placed at the scene to make it appear as though they had been killed while attacking the station. This is one of several incidents orchestrated along the border between Germany and Poland at the same time, to give the appearance of Polish aggression against Germany, justifying the invasion that would take place the following day, on September 1, 1939, and would lead to the start of World War II. Today the station houses the Museum of Radio and Visual Arts, where the equipment from the old station is displayed, associated with this historical context. From Gliwice and its impressive wooden tower, we headed towards Swidnica, where one of the so-called peace churches is located. The history of this impressive and beautiful church begins in the year 1648 at the end of the 30 Years' War, a series of internal wars in the states controlled by the Holy Germanic Empire, when the imperial authority limited the religious freedom of the Protestants, leading them to rebel and start the war. At the end of this, one of the peace agreements was that each state was legitimized to designate a national religious cult, but it was necessary to respect the religious freedoms of all inhabitants, assuming, for example, that the construction of churches of other cults was allowed. In the historical region of Silesia, which historically changed hands between Moravia, Poland, Austria and Germany, the situation resolved historical conflicts, and the Catholic government accepted the construction of the so-called peace churches, specifically 3 in the cities of Swidnica, Jora, and Głogów. Although this seemingly resolved the problem, hostilities remained latent, and in Silesia, this led to very harsh conditions for accepting the construction of Protestant churches, with a regulation approved in 1562 imposing the conditions for their construction. The regulation stipulated that the churches had to be built outside the city, that they could only be constructed with perishable materials such as wood, sand, clay or straw and without using nails, that they could not have bell towers or bells, and the worst imposition was that they had to be built in just 1 year. Despite the impositions and against all odds, the 3 churches were built within the established time frame, respecting the conditions, becoming the largest wooden churches on the continent. Of the 3 churches, the ones in Jora and Swidnica still stand, but the fire destroyed the church in Głogów in 1748. The church we are visiting today is the impressive Church of Swidnica, the largest timber-framed church in Europe, which began construction in 1656 and was completed the following year within the established period. Its interior is enormous, with an area of about 1,100 square meters, and it can accommodate up to 7,500 people, 3,000 of them seated, which gives an idea of its great size. But apart from the large size of the church, what stands out the most is the great number of paintings framed in wood that decorate its interior, including the aisles, the central nave, the side naves, and the railings, which make the whole ensemble even more impressive, being a unique example of ecclesiastical baroque. We cannot help but admire the beauty of the altar, the organ, the pulpit with an hourglass that measured the duration of religious ceremonies in the 19th century, or the balconies situated at different levels for the most privileged believers from specific families, among which the Hopbrook balcony stands out, built in gratitude to this wealthy local family, who donated 2/3 of the wood needed to build the church, wood sourced from around 2,000 oaks. At the entrance of the church in the baptistry, in a less ornate space, we find a beautiful polychrome wooden baptismal font, portraits of the priests who preached in the church for centuries, a display case with liturgical vestments used until the end of the 19th century, and an old confessional. Outside, we have the bell tower, built in 1758, 50 meters from the church, when the situation for Protestants had improved, which also allowed for the construction of 2 Protestant schools and a sacristy. And in this beautiful church, where the sobriety of its exterior contrasts with the beauty of its interior, we conclude our journey through Poland, where we have enjoyed its art, culture, and nature, and which we highly recommend visiting, and we begin another adventure in northern Czechia and its capital, Prague.